Right, hello everybody. This session we're sort of discussing holidating with DMD and sort of really knowing no limits. I have a long history of sort of holidays and adventure, really. Starting back at sort of family camping trips to France, quite a few times where there would usually be a disaster. Or two, I think that's where my sense of adventure comes from. But, through to sort of joining a disabled scout group that meant I went on trips, went on camps every year away from my parents, and usual boys sort of rough and tumble, and probably loads of health and safety things you couldn't get away with today, but that pulled me away from my parents, and I think that was a really good opportunity of sort of doing stuff with people your own age and not being cowed down by your parents. And then sort of when I started having support, one of the things we did was a driving holiday around Europe for about 5 or 6 weeks and just followed our noses, and that was really a life-changing adventure, and that really opened up a whole world of possibilities to me. And then after I employed my PAs would quite often have a driving holiday in the continent or Norway or somewhere like that. And really that just continued on, and I eventually plucked up the courage to get myself on a flight to Spain, because I found an ideal holiday place that was fully equipped. The people that ran it had a really positive attitude and weren't patronising about disability at all, and they catered for all my needs, the upper transfers, and equipment and everything, and that was really excellent. And that's where the picture of me in Nepal sort of came from. I don't know if anybody is, but it was a really challenge, that, because since I got my ventilator and tracheostomy, I'd never ever been on a flight. So that took a huge amount of planning, learning everything you had to get in place, the letters for doctors and approval from airline, blah-de-blah, and the whole anxiety of having to get transferred out your chair and all the indignity and harassment that involves. And also being very worried about your chair being destroyed, as I've heard many bad stories. But luckily, my 2 trips to Spain, nothing happened to my chair. Although the flight was a little uncomfortable, it was worth it just to get somewhere with a bit of heat and a bit of somewhere that would really cater for my needs and let me just enjoy a good holiday. Unfortunately, I haven't been on holiday the last couple of years, but that's really sort of knowing no limits, sort of, that you can challenge yourself and you can overcome a lot of the obstacles that are thrown in your way. So that's my sort of introduction. And I know a few of the other guys want to say a bit about their experience of their holiday adventures.
Firstly, yeah, very nice to see you all here today, and it's a real pleasure to be invited down here today by everyone from the DMD Pathfinders team to come and talk about my experiences of travelling, and also sort of, the solutions we're trying to create in order to help other people with disabilities to travel, because we all know, first and foremost, everyone loves to go on holiday, and it's one of the most important things you can do. So there's nothing that really should be able there to prevent anyone from going away. So just a bit of background to myself. My name's Angus Drummond, and I'm the founder of a company called Limitless Travel. I'm sort of relatively new to muscular dystrophy. I was diagnosed with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy at the age of 23. So up until that point, until about the age of 18, was fairly active, didn't notice too much of a condition until around this sort of age of 17, 18, found that I wasn't able to really run anymore, wasn't able to climb stairs, or, began to have difficulty walking. And so after a few years of sort of getting told lots of different the wrong diagnosis, was eventually diagnosed with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy at the age of 23. And sort of, have been gradually progressing since then. So, at that age, as I'm sure everybody else knows who've had a sort of severe diagnosis, it's obviously quite a hard thing to take. And I decided at the time to quit my job. I was working in London, in banking at the time, and decided to quit my job because I didn't want to spend the rest of my days stuck behind a desk, even though I'm probably working behind a desk more now than I was before. But to quit my job and go travelling around the world, and I had an amazing time travelling. I've now visited sort of 5 continents and over 50 countries. But whilst I was away, I began to notice for the first time the problems that you have when you want to go on holiday with a disability. And I'm still ambulant, and for me it was a challenge. So I obviously realised that some people have much more severe conditions or different conditions, and it can be even more challenging. And I just felt that was a bit ridiculous, because, going on holiday is beautiful, right? It's the most important thing you can do. It's just so important to go away and have some time, even just to improve your overall happiness and health and well-being. Even if anyone hasn't got any condition, they're working and they're stressed out at work, you need to be able to go and have a 2-week holiday just to completely switch off from your life. So I wanted to do something about it, and rather than sort of set up a company that was focused around the disability, I wanted to more focused around the travel, and sort of create a company that was going to make amazing holidays and new experiences for anybody and everybody, no matter what your condition. So that's me. I got to Switzerland last year, and with great difficulty managed to get to the top of a mountain. It was some help with a cable car, but there was a few scary moments when the cable car wouldn't stop, and I basically got my legs trapped beneath it and thought I was going to break both my legs. But anyway, I managed to get off and get to the top and get a photo. And for me, travel isn't just it's about going away, but you want to be able to go to the most exciting places in the world, and I don't really think that anywhere should really be off limits. And I think everyone accepts that going somewhere is hard. It's by no means easy. Even if no matter what you have, it's difficult to go on holiday, and I think that's one of the first things to recognise. But I think that with the right understanding and the right, by trying to implement the right solutions to the problem, that you really can go to most places. So I set up Limitless Travel. We've now grown to a team of 5 people, and everyone in the team has either got a disability or is now with a relative with a disability. So really, we understand firsthand the needs that people face, which I think is really important. And together we've set an ethos to try and revolutionise travel for people with disabilities, so that no one should ever be held back from having a holiday, and that we can really go and find some amazing places. But as we were trying to work out how to do this, we sort of came across a number of different problems, which I'm sure everybody in this room has faced. First of all, cost, because I don't know if anyone's gone to a travel company and tried to book a disabled holiday. I think they almost don't want to deal with you, so they just sort of whack up the price by about 5 or 6 times and just quote the most ridiculous price they can do to either try and scare you off, or if you do go and pay for it, they're thinking, well, we've made a bit of money here. So it's sort of cost is one of the most difficult things. But then also, how we found for a lot of people, how are you going to get there? How do you travel to a place? If you want to go to somewhere in Europe or even somewhere in the UK, it's just difficult to travel there, and it's that's one of the most difficult things. And then you might be able to get to the place, but when you arrive there, hotels that are marked as disabled friendly, well, they might have a nice disabled access bathroom, but they've got 2 steps going into the main entrance. So you're like, well, how am I supposed to get in the building in the first place, or something like that? We were looking at one hotel, and they showed us their disabled room. This is the Radisson, by the way, in Manchester. Never stay there. I don't like to name names normally, but in this case it will. And we were looking at it to send some people there, and they showed us their disabled room, and it was walked in, and it was basically it was a toilet with you know, grab rails either side, but it was just a normal bath. And we said, you know, how are you supposed to get in there? It's like, oh, well, it's fine, because you can just wheel up next to the bath in your wheelchair and you sort of grab the shower and you spray yourself. And we were like, well, there's no sink, there's no drain, there's nothing to go away. And so, like, luckily we were just checking it. But the problem is, you know, places that mark themselves as disabled friendly really aren't. And then it's, you know, when you go away, it's fantastic going away, but often if you're traveling, you know, it's a lot of strain on your friends you're going with or your family members, because, you know, if they're looking after you or if you're having to look after somebody, it's a lot of work, and it's often more work being away than it is at home. And we found that for lots of people, they'll just put off going altogether because they just didn't think they could get looked after. And then you might have the right people to look after you, you might have found the right hotel, you might have got there, but then you don't have any of your equipment with you and you haven't been able to get that and the transport. And then if you get over all that, what the hell are you going to do when you get there, because you have no idea what to do on a day-to-day basis. So these were just some of the main problems that really people found and that we found that people face. So our solution is to, what we've now done is organise specialist group tours, and we found a number of coach companies. This is just one example of them that have, you know, really nice coaches, but they've got wheelchair accessible lifts on there as well. So the view is being, you know, rather than everyone having to travel there by themselves, we'll go as a big group. And you can have a wheelchair accessible coach that has a lift on it, and you can actually stay in your wheelchair during the journey, so you don't have to worry about transferring out. And you know, there's TVs on there, DVD players, there's tea and coffee making facilities, so it's a really, really comfortable journey. And then we'll also go and research different hotels and find hotels and actually go there and check them. And when you go there, they have to pass a certain criteria in order to enable people to go there. And we give them an audit checklist that they have to follow through. And then also, you know, one of the biggest problems, like I said, is the cost. You have all these different elements, and then if you need to take carers away with you, it can become quite expensive. So we trialled a holiday whereby we took carers on board the holiday with us, and it was just included in the price. We found that that was great because everyone could have the care support you need whilst you're away. So we ran 5 tours last summer as a bit of an experiment to see how it goes, and it was a bit of a scary experience because we had no idea if they were going to work or not, but they ran fantastically well, and actually found that for a number of people going, it was just great to be on holiday. And we did trips to Devon and to Scotland, which were a great success, and so much so that nearly over half the people who came away with us last year have now booked to go away next year. And actually many of the people who came away, it was their sort of first holiday for like 5 or 6 years. We had one trip to Scotland where there was 20 people, and the last time anyone on that trip had a holiday was 7 years ago. So it was really good to take a group of people away. So we sort of did our test with Scotland and Devon last year, and now we've sort of got very excited about it, and we've planned a lot more holidays for next year, which is a really difficult job to have to go to places and research them all the time. So we do actually need people to help us research. So if anyone's interested in being a researcher, we're always on the lookout. So, but next year we're going to be running trips to Amsterdam and Belgium, and also to Tenerife as well, because everyone loves a week in the sunshine. So thinking there's nothing better than going to Tenerife in the sun. But not just a normal holiday. We've found a great hotel that's got a couple of cocktail bars in there, and I think one night we're going to go out on a pub crawl as well around the local town, because it's just about having a nice holiday really as well for all different ages. So yeah, that's the experience so far of Limitless Travel. We're a new company, you know, been going for a couple of years now, but we're finding that, you know, I think when you look at problems in the right way and really trying to find a solution to them, there are always solutions. You just have to be a bit more creative in how we're doing it. So we are always open to new ideas as well, and to getting people's new experiences, because everyone's experiences are different. So if anyone has any recommendations or places that they can recommend to us, we're really happy to hear them. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Thanks, Angus. I actually bumped into a couple of people on one of your trips in Edinburgh in the summer, so that was quite good. I was going to actually ask John Ashby to tell us a bit about his recent holiday trip.
Hi everyone, my name is John and I'm here to talk to you about a holiday that I took last year to Centre Parks. The whole idea of going on this holiday was one of my closest friends. Who is also disabled. She said, have you thought about going on a holiday? And I said it wouldn't be possible to organise because of my equipment and costs. My friend then said, you don't know unless you try. I'll even go with you. So we both decided to go to Centre Parks at Sherwood Forest. And because it was nearer to where we both lived, and my friend has been before, and it also has accessible lodges. The first thing I had to do was raise the money to afford the 5-day holiday. To do this, I used the GoFundMe website, and I asked my friends and family to share my fundraising posts and tweets on their Facebook and Twitter. I also saved money up for myself. It took about 4 or 5 months to raise the money to book the adapted lodge. So my friend and I booked our separate lodges on their website. We also chose some activities to do whilst we would be there. Unfortunately, there are only a few accessible activities. The next task was to organise the carers and medical supplies I would need for 5 days. Lucky for me, I have a great rapport with the care agency and their carers. So we decided that I would be taking 4 carers with me, 2 for the day shifts and 2 for the night time, which is what I have at home. care agency also hired the hoist for me to use. Right. With the cameras sorted, I now had to decide how much medical supplies I would need, such as ventilator tubing and trachecare, medication and nebulizers. I arranged with my mum about her driving me and the carers to and from Centre Parks, because I lived about 2 hours away. We were told to arrive at Centre Parks just before 2 p.m. on the Monday afternoon, which gave us plenty of time to load the van up with our suitcases and lots of medical equipment. It was quite jam-packed, with everybody loaded. We set off to Centre Parks. Driving through the lovely countryside. On first arrival, all you can see are huge old trees. We had to check in at the main gate and were given our keys. So we drove slowly round until we found our lodge. The lodge was fully disabled friendly, with level floor and wider doors, a wheel-in shower room, and even an electric bed. The downside was we had to rent the hoist. But other than that, the accommodation is great. My first thoughts were that this place is really peaceful and would help me to relax and enjoy the great outdoors. All you can hear are birds tweeting, After we unpacked, I messaged my friend that we had arrived and would meet up later for a barbecue at my lodge. The first evening, we had the barbecue with my friend and our carers. Two of my carers manned the cooking on the barbecue. Once they figured out how to light it, there were a lot of outdoor activities and indoor activities, including a spa. Unfortunately, there was only a handful of activities I could physically do, but the ones I could were great. We had a couple of nights playing bowling, which got very competitive between me and my friend. I was also able to take part with the birds of prey, which was great to get up close with these birds. But my favourite thing was being able to go on walks through the park freely and take in the natural environment and the other one, and spending time with my friend. Also in the park, there are various restaurants, shops and a supermarket, all of which are accessible. I learned that holidays are possible even with a trachea and DMD. I would encourage everyone with DMD to take a holiday if you can, because it has helped me feel more relaxed and recharged. It showed me that life with Duchenne can be a fulfilling one. Sometimes difficult, but worth living. My overall opinion is that Centre Parks is a great place to go to relax and spend time with friends. I also think access for disabled is great, but one improvement would be to maybe have a ceiling track hoist fitted in the bedroom.
Thank you, John. I know how much of a worthwhile achievement that was for you, and I'm really pleased you enjoyed a good holiday. Thanks very much. Next up, I think Jordan Wright was going to come and give us a bit about his experience. Jordan.
Right. For those who don't know already, my name's Jordan Wright, 21, and earlier this year I went on a cruise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask myself some questions and then answer them sort of as a way of sort of explaining what I did. So, how often do I go away, and how long ago since I last went abroad? Normally, I go away somewhere in the UK every year. I don't know, it might be somewhere like Cornwall or somewhere like that. But I haven't actually been abroad since I was about 8. So I sort of thought going on a cruise would be sort of a good way to go there basically. So why did I choose a cruise instead of another type? Well, I thought it was the only alternative really to air travel. I don't fly just due to the stress involved with that. So yeah, that's why. Another reason why was because it was actually my 21st birthday while I was on the cruise, so that was nice. So how did I actually find about the accessibility arrangements of cruise? I was on the website, and so I looked at different cruise provider websites first, and then I decided which company would be the best to use. So in the end, I chose a 2-week-long Mediterranean cruise for P&O, which I booked over the phone directly with the company, who discussed all my requirements. Who did I go with? I went on the cruise with my mum Sarah and sister Amy. So how did I get to the cruise ship? My mum drove all of us to Southampton, the port, and we had free parking at the port. You're actually given the choice whether to have extra spending money or free parking, so we chose parking. So what countries and ports did I visit? The cruise went to Spain, Italy and France. This had 7 ports in total, including Alicante, Barcelona, Cartagena, Corsica. It went to Civitavecchia, which was a port to get to Rome. We also went to La Spezia and Gibraltar. So, was I able to get off the ship at every port, and did I go on pre-arranged tours, or did I go by myself? So, I could get off at most ports apart from La Spezia, as the bus from the port wasn't actually accessible. I visited Alicante, Cartagena, Corsica and Gibraltar myself, as everything was within walking distance from the ship. I did actually book a tour for Barcelona, but in the end the coach tail lift wouldn't actually take my weight. But thankfully they gave me a refund, and we then decided to make our own way there on foot. and catch a accessible city tour bus, which was good. I actually decided to allow P&O to book a private tour to Rome on my behalf. It was quite expensive, but it's very, very accessible, and we had a very, very knowledgeable driver with a minibus who basically drove us around all the sites, stopping along the way and allowing us to explore on foot. I mean, it took about an hour and a half to get to Rome, but I would say it was well worth the distance and money. Were the places I visited accessible? Well, I think they were, considering how old some of the places were. There was lots of lower curbs and accessible shops, restaurants and museums. So what kind of equipment did I have to arrange for the cruise? Well, I hired a mobile hoist, profiling bed and a shower chair, which actually you can hire from a company called Mobility at Sea. This company basically can provides equipment specifically for going on cruise holidays. They actually set up the equipment in your cabin before you get on the ship. But I think if anyone does decide, I think you do need to book it very early, as there's limited availability. So that was good. But how did I manage to find travel insurance? Well, the travel insurance itself wasn't too difficult to find, but it is very, very expensive. But the only problem is some people may go without it, but on a cruise you can't actually do that because they won't allow you to travel. And also you do need to make sure you purchase a policy that includes cruise cover. It won't cover certain situations, if that makes sense. But there is a medical centre actually with doctors on board, so if anything does happen, you're quite safe, which is actually very reassuring. Did I have to take any PAs with me? No, but as it was a family holiday, and we thought that my mum was happy doing, and sister were happy dealing with my care. It's not actually possible to have a free cabin for PAs, but the smallest disabled cabins can accommodate 3 guests. My cruise actually had a discount that allowed the 3rd guest to go half price. What kind of entertainment and activities were available on the ship? All the entertainment is free and very accessible. This included theatre shows, live music. You've got activities including cooking classes, celebrity Q&A sessions, got behind the scenes tours of the ship. There was duty-free shopping, black tie events, but after each destination you go to, there's a what they call the sail away party as well, which is quite fun. So what food is actually included? Well, everyone gets sit-down meals with waiter service in the Oriental restaurant, which is sort of the one that everyone gets. You do get there is also a help yourself restaurant buffet, which is open 24 hours a day, even at night. There's also burger and pizza bars open during the day, which is also included. You can also purchase food from other restaurants and coffee shops as an extra. And you also get room service available for most restaurants. That's normally free. How are items of food purchased? Well, each guest is given a cabin card, which is used to make purchases with. You're then sent a bill on the final day of the cruise. So, what was my overall opinion on the cruise? The cruise on the whole, I think, it really was an amazing experience. We're actually given the opportunity to see so much. in a single holiday. I'll definitely do it again, and would recommend it to anyone. Although it can be quite expensive sometimes, I would say I'd describe it as worth the money if anyone gets the opportunity. So what next? I think the cruise was actually that good that I decided that I'd book another for next year to the Norwegian fjords. So yeah, again, I would definitely recommend it. Anyone have any questions or anything? Okay.
Thanks, Jordan. That looked like you had an incredible time. I just wanted to mention that Jordan touched on quite a difficult issue, and that's travel insurance. And if you have Duchenne, the cost of travel insurance is just astronomical, and I don't know if that's an issue we're able to take up with insurers at some point. Yeah, I just wanted to mention a holiday place in Spain I went to that's excellent if anyone's interested. It's called Las Piedras, L-A-S-P, Pied, how do you spell Pied? Piedras. .co.uk. I think I've got the E and the I there right way around. If that doesn't work, just swap them around. Okay, so that rounds up our... Sorry, I think Mifflin wanted to say something too.
I actually went to Australia. But
yes.
You can read my story on the Pathfinders website. There's a blog, a 3-part blog, if anyone's interested.
Yeah, and you can read about Miffin's trip to Australia on our website if anyone's interested to see how that went, because I know it was quite a mammoth undertaking. Okay. Right, well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and I hope you can take some information away from that. And I don't let you think any boundaries will stop you, because clearly they can't. Okay, thanks.